What's up guys, Dre with Overland Tundras, and we are back at it again with another video. So you can see over here we have our 2022 Toyota Tundra. You can see it's nice and dirty, it's worn, it's used. We have about 26,000 miles on it now. And you remember we talked about the top 10 things we loved about this thing. Well, now that we've had it for over a year and a half now, we're gonna talk about the top 10 things that we hate about it. Hate's a strong word, but there is some things we don't like about it, so let's get into those. All right guys, well, let's get started. Top 10 things, going down to number one, hated thing. And again, some of these might be first world problems, like number 10, the controls on my 2015 Toyota Tundra. Audio and skipping tracks and up and down volume is on one side. So if I'm driving with one hand just like this, I can make all the adjustments with one hand. However, on this one, volume's on the left. If I want to change a track, it's on the right side. Again, first world problems, but that is something that I kind of dislike about this truck. I wish everything was just on one platform and then, or on one side. That way, if I'm driving like this, I can just do it all on one hand. All right, let's move on to number 9. Number 9 is actually going to be the cameras. When backing up, going into a parking spot, if I use the cameras, and this actually is everyone that's driven this truck, I don't know if it's just this specific one, the cameras need to get calibrated or something, but if you just use the cameras and align the lines, all the recommendations and everything, I am always off. I'm always too much to the right, too much to the left. It is just a mess. So we'll go into a parking spot and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, because I thought I was going crazy. I'm like, I had never had an issue backing up until I started driving this truck. So I don't use it at all when I'm backing up. I just use the mirrors and back up and good to go. All right, so let's practice backing up with the camera, with the line assist, and see how we do, because I can never get it. Everyone I have struggles with it. So blue lines are our perimeter. So pulling in. Same example if there is a car next to us. All right, so that was actually not bad, but it put us way to the left, if you can see that. Put us way to the left. Over here, we're looking centered, but on the parking spot, we're really to the left. So number 7, it is going to be the dome lights, the interior lights. We have really nice soft white LEDs in the front and the back, but there's nothing in the center. I know some of the higher grade ones, this is an SR5 TRD package truck, but I know the bigger ones have, or the better packages have the sliding glass, sunroof, moonroof, and you can't have anything there. But on this one, I would have loved that for them to have put a light there, because again, we're usually in pitch black if we're camping, or even at night if you have dark tent, you can't see nothing in here. And these little lights don't do much. They're nice and soft, but they really don't do much. So that's kind of a little bit frustrating if you're like looking for something. You're usually having to pull out your iPhone and use that, because these lights do relatively nothing. So that kind of bothers me a little bit. And number 7, I think, should be actually a little bit lower on the list, is the tow points, especially because we like off-roading. We don't take this truck off-roading heavily. This is mostly, my wife drives this most of the time, and this is kind of a daily, or we take this one on trips or to the beach or light camping trips, nothing crazy. But these trucks come with no tow points in the front, which is kind of silly, because you know they come with TRD packages, lockers, and you guys saw the video of Robert with his 2023 Toyota Tundra, and we're off-roading, and we're thinking, if he got stuck, how do we get him from the front? So that is one thing that I think Toyota kind of failed on. I don't think that would reduce miles per gallon significantly, and definitely on an off-road truck should be something that should be there. All right, while we're at the lights, number 6. Oh my God, this one is annoying. seatbelt sensors. If there's anything on any seats, front, rear, the chime will just go off. It just beep, 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 and you have to put the seatbelt on all 3 seats in the back, even if you have a purse or something on there. I was reading on the forums and they said that you could take it to the dealership and they could have it removed. I don't know, that doesn't sound right because that would be kind of like a liability or something, some kind of lawsuit, but that's what they're saying on there. I haven't done it personally, but that is super annoying that anything that touches that seat, it starts beeping. So that's a little annoying. So that's definitely something we dislike about this truck. Number 5, when there's a lot of safety features on this truck, a lot of good and bad, and of course we'll talk about the bad today, is if you have the truck in drive and one of the doors is open, the truck's not gonna move. So I'm always thinking worst case scenarios. Let's say someone's trying to carjack you or something, that door's open, you hit the gas and you ain't going nowhere. That's kind of alarming to me. If the wife's driving, anyone's driving, someone comes, yanks the door open or something, and then you're trying to go and you can't. Yeah, it's kind of concerning. I don't know if, again, that's something that you can disable. There's so many features on this thing that I personally haven't gone through it, but I don't think that's one that you can just easily disable. But I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So hypothetically, something happens, you need to check the door, and then somebody comes and tries to carjack you, and you try to take off, emergency brake comes on, and you're just like, oh, I can't go. So you manage to close the door, and let's go. I still can't go. I have to put it into park for it to release the emergency brake, and then finally I can take off. That's something I really dislike, because again, if anything happens, obviously when you put it in drive, door locks. But if you happen to have, I don't know, the window down and somebody comes, hits you, opens the door, because Toyota, once you hit the lever, it unlocks it, then you're kind of stuck in a situation where you just can't do anything. You're going to be flustered, and always kind of thinking that worst case scenario. So I dislike that very much. So in between all this dislike and hate, because I'm a very positive person, let's throw a little bit of positivity in there. So as you can see, we've been lugging this thing around, the Setpower fridge, because we're continuing to test this thing out for reliability, durability, and everything. And we continue to throw camping trips, beach outings, grocery runs, and it's holding up very well. It's not beat up or anything. We take it out, we put it in the truck, we put it in my truck, we take it to the beach, we take it to the park, and it's still solid, no issues. So we're super excited to share this one with you guys. I'll put in the description the link where you can use our discount code to purchase it and take it on your adventures. So let's get back to the dislikes about this truck. All right, moving on to number 4. Again, a lot of people have experienced completely different things with their 2022 Tundras. Again, this is a first generation or first year, new generation. They did a lot of different things, and on the highway, and it is a 10-speed transmission. If you're on the highway and let's say you're going 80, 85, and you want to go past someone even faster, I get a nasty hard shift. I haven't talked to the dealership about that, but I need to talk to them about that. And it's not every time, but it is an abrupt shift that kind of shakes the whole truck and doesn't sound like it's good for the truck. But that is kind of concerning, and I've never felt that in a car, especially a newer car. But I'm thinking maybe because it's going from a high gear, dropping significantly, maybe not missing a gear, but something there, potentially electronically or whatnot. But yeah, that one is kind of concerning, but no issues on lower gears, low speed. It's always on the high speed. If you're on the highway going like 80, 85, and then you want to jump up to like 90, 95, yeah, it's a higher speed, and don't advise doing that. But that shift just kind of scares me. All right, number 3, the lane assist. The lane assist is all over the place with this truck. Now, if you guys saw the last video, I believe I spoke about this gentleman that actually looked at the truck, and he was studying the truck because his business, what they do is they calibrate all the sensors on the truck after it's been in an accident or anything like that. Because this truck, I believe, if I recall correctly, has something like, I forgot how many computers, but it has like 60 computers because of so many sensors. So anytime there's any accident or anything like that, you have to get certain computers, certain sensors calibrated. For example, windshield. If something happens with a windshield, he told me it has to be calibrated. So when he did his test, he said that he had to calibrate a lot of the sensors because it was from factory, wasn't centered or wasn't dialed in. So I think I'm gonna have to reach out to them or go to the dealership and have them look at everything just to have everything recalibrated, because when I put on cruise control, radar and everything, the steering wheel is just, it's all over the place. It's reading everything kind of incorrectly. Sometimes it'll just randomly stop, and just the lane assist, centering you in the lane, is just fighting. And in the I previously had a Tesla, which was completely different technology, of course. I think it's significantly more advanced, but it would just keep you centered. That steering wheel is deadlocked, and not trying to compare it to that, but yeah, this one's just a little bit all over the place. So that lane assist, kind of also slash technology there, I think it might be lacking a little bit. Number 2 is going to be the finishing touches and weather strips. The weather strips, everyone has this complaint. Luckily, I don't have a lot of noise with the weather strips, a lot of air coming in. If you're going really fast, of course, you're going to hear something, but there's no fix for them. Toyota, they just said it is what it is, but they come undone. They kind of flap around sometimes, but yeah, it's just kind of annoying that you can't, you spend all this money on a car and then just a silly weather strip, they can't get that right. But it is what it is. Not too worried about that one, but it's just kind of frustrating. It's something so small that they can't just say, hey, we made a new weather strip that's not going to fly off or make noise or let a lot of noise into the cabin. There's also different pieces of trim that I've noticed on mine personally and a lot of other trucks. At the tailgate, the corners lift up. I believe it's like a 3-piece tailgate now, so a lot of more pieces there, and it just doesn't sit right on a lot of the trucks. And I'm sure a lot of you guys that do have the newer Tundra have different pieces of trims that are coming off or shaking or don't fit in place very well. But again, those are things that really don't bother me, but just kind of annoying. You're paying all this money for a truck. All right, we made it to number 1, and it is super annoying, frustrating for me. I don't know if the wife feels it, but a couple other friends that have driven the truck have felt it. Haven't talked to the dealership because sometimes they're just annoying to talk to. Coming from a stop and accelerating again, there is sometimes this nasty lag where you press the pedal down and you're like, wait, we're not moving. And then all of a sudden, the computer reads it and you just kind of get kicked back. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's usually when you're coming to a stop sign or a red light and then immediately turns green. You go ahead and hit the gas pedal again, and it's just kind of sends you back. You're like, hey, we need to go. And it's lagging, it's buffering, it's trying to figure out what's going on here. So that is really annoying, because there's been instances where I'm just trying to make a quick acceleration in traffic or something to get out of an intersection or something, and it's kind of lagged, and it's just kind of like, oh, we're not going, and then it's like, boom, okay, we're going. So it doesn't happen all the time, and I guess it doesn't happen enough where I'm just like, all right, this is a safety thing, but it's just really annoying when it does happen. I did get, if you look over here, this is the shift power, which is kind of like a pedal commander. It's ECU, throttle, adapter, throttle response, whatever you want to call it. But you can adjust it where your acceleration's a little bit touchier, your throttle response is a little touchier. It's supposed to add a little bit more horsepower. And that kind of helps it out a little bit, but sometimes it doesn't help it either. So it's just one of those things that is my biggest pet peeve about this truck, that when I drive it and it does that, I want to go and trade it in. So hope you guys got some value out of these things that I hate. Again, I love the truck. Wanted to do the top 10 things I hated about the truck because there's a lot of good and bad information out there. I have the truck all dirty because I've seen a lot of videos of people that just get a brand new truck and start bashing it, and I think they're just kind of making videos just to make videos. But we got 26,000 miles on the truck. We've had it for over a year and a half now. It's dirty, it's used. We used the 4-wheel drive, used the locker. We have new tires on it, new wheels, suspension. I didn't talk about the suspension because that's something that we added to it, so it's not a factory thing. But the Westcott collar lift, do not do that. Especially if you're off-roading. You're just being tossed all over the place. You hit a speed bump, you break your teeth. Nothing against the company, but it is, again, it's one of those things that it's more for an aesthetic look, to get those bigger tires, to get that look. But it's not a pleasing ride. And again, not to bash the company or anything like that. For me and for what we do and the quality of ride, we still have it on here, but most likely we're gonna upgrade soon to something a lot more smoother, because it's not a fun ride, especially off-road. So again, hope you guys got some value out of this. Comment and let me know what the top 10 things you hate about your Tundra, or what you've heard about, because I'd love to hear about other things that maybe I missed. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next one.